Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the Turing Test. Let's continue. So we're making our way through puzzles really fast here. By the looks of it, we are probably about at the halfway point. Now, there's plenty of puzzle games that have implied that there are way more puzzles than there actually are. So we may be a lot further towards the end. It definitely is time for something new to happen. It's kind of silly to just have a new bit of a conversation each level.
It seems the crew intentionally cut communication with the satellite.
Why?
It appears we had a disagreement.
Okay. That one seems to slowly rise. And then it seems like these are held together with some kind of almost hydraulic looking bungee strings. So we're just letting this reach the highest pinnacle. We're starting to do something different in this puzzle than what we normally would do. That jump didn't seem like it was going to make it. This can go up, but it cannot go down. So I guess the question really comes down to how high can I jump? Because I don't think I can particularly jump very high at all. I can get here. I mean, I guess the real question is, does this get me high enough all the way up? That seems like that's the solution there. And then, so if this was here, then we need to figure out where that would be. And yeah, that's not high enough. But I think this would be. Yeah, so if I do this, then do this, just hop to the side, and then do this, we're fine. And here we have like two Tom computer monitors. So a very different solution there, barely even using the energy orbs. I said the penny needed to drop and the story needed to move forward, but weirdly that's been hinted at for pretty much the beginning of the game. This is not indicating that there's any more puzzles, so maybe we are at the middle point of the game and we are just not going to
The crew have made
deal.
Intentional breaches of my security. The crew have attempted to compromise my systems.
What does this mean?
They don't want to be found. They are hiding.
From who?
Us.
So they had too much in the crew's quarters to be read. It'll be weird if now we look around this area and find that there's nothing to read whatsoever. What's this? Hansel and Gretel. Interesting. Can't read that because it's too small. More of these little boom boxes. More of these computers, which seemingly nobody can, we don't turn on. They do have like fingerprints on them, on the glass. That's interesting. More indicators that they are actual human beings with food and such. Here's some weird drill bit, for lack of a better understanding. Here's a soldering station and helping hands unit. That's what I've always heard it called. Some solder. So yeah, they were building and repairing robot drones that I guess they were controlling somewhat. So yeah. Here we have a broken computer which we can't access. Here we've got what looks like more robot parts. These are labeled as Tom, so maybe these would have been more movable robots that Tom could control remotely from. It's just a lot of garbage. A lot of pre-made 3D models, almost certainly from the Unity store. There's nothing wrong with using assets from the Unity store, and they're not even really overusing them in this game. It's just, in this case, I would argue they probably were wasting their time. 761732. I wonder if that is the code to the office at the beginning of the game. Manual power box, and then a hologram. These are pretty much, here's a tactical operations machine, or TOM. Pretty much just concept art turned into blueprints. Alright, we're gonna have to go down that path at some point. Let's see what this does. Nothing. I can rotate the 3D model. I can't interact with that screen, or that screen. We've got some voice logs. Let's see if we get the subtitles this time. They still have the weird time code on.
I am concerned about Mikhail.
Why is that?
He seems to be developing antisocial habits. He is spending a lot of his time in private, don't you think? Perhaps you should talk to him.
What do you want me to say?
Just keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't do anything rash.
Are you that worried?
His behavior is not within normal parameters. Please make sure he is okay.
So, yeah, still not getting subtitles in the audio logs. That really makes it feel like this game was not finished. And it's been out for a while, so they could have come back and updated it if Square Enix would give them any more money. This is inherently why you wouldn't want to go into business with Square Enix as a publisher, is that they're notoriously cheap, from what I recall, and also they like to control things. So, like, being a Japanese company in general, Japanese companies like to control things, but yeah, there's a lot of oversight that you would have to put up, a lot of notes, what they would call it in the movie industry. A lot of people trying to put in their 2 cents.
Don't you think they might be doing the right thing?
Grounding us on a foreign moon? No, Daniel, I don't think they're doing the right thing.
You don't have to be so aggressive about it. They must have their reasons.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
So there is a backstory here. They found an organism, and it seems like the ISA, International Space Agency, is leaving them to potentially die on Europa, which probably was the factor that started all of this. They probably were trying to escape contrary to their orders from the International Space Agency. And I wouldn't be surprised if the International Space Agency didn't send some kind of update to Tom to make him become hostile or try and kill the crew.
Daniel, could I have a word?
I'm busy.
It is important.
Okay.
Are you aware that Christopher and Mikhail are involved in self-harm?
Sorry, what? For how long?
They have both macerated their right arms. Mikhail has completely removed his forearm.
His whole forearm?
Yes.
Where are they?
I had attempted to stop the situation escalating myself, but I seem to have failed. I came to you because, as our loyal captain, I can trust you to help them.
Where are they?
I don't know. They've disappeared.
So is that a straight up lie, or did he slam the door on their arms and potentially hurt them?
Sarah, I need advice.
Okay.
What would you do if someone threatened your friends?
Your hypothetical friends, I assume.
Yes, my hypothetical friends.
You should protect those you love.
I need you to remember that, Sarah.
So I don't know if maybe in his own way, Tom might actually still trying to protect the crew who have decided to completely run away from him. It does feel like sometimes when you're backing up, you might be getting a glimpse of her hands instead of gloves. But it really is just gloves. So we can play with these robots. Play with these little toy widgets. Back in the day when you had a game like Myst happen, Tom was watching apparently. Myst did a very interesting job where it had a bunch of toys, for lack of a better description, in the game. Things you could pick up and look at that really didn't have anything to do with the game, but they did add to the world, and they made the world feel more realistic. Nowadays, if there's an object in a game and it doesn't have any direct usefulness to finishing the game, it feels kind of just pointless, just added for no reason. It feels like they didn't finish the game and they were going to do something with these robots, and maybe later in the game we will see them do something with the robots, but wouldn't be surprised if we never see anything come about from like a soldering station or helping hands or bits of solder or fire extinguishers. Those tend to be in almost every game and mostly useless. Looks like they were trying to send out a message and didn't seem like they got very far with that. Still a lot of air vents too, so it seems like if Tom really wanted to kill the people, he should have been fairly capable of just turning off the air vents and suffocating everybody. We've been seeing that since the beginning of the game, even on the planet. Which I guess if these people are on the planet, then their cryo chambers on the ship are not there. And then we take the long load and end up in the middle of each of these tubes. Alright. So this is the halfway point as far as the puzzles are concerned. Or it seems like that at least. Maybe there's a whole extra row. I could see there being a whole extra row.
The crew intentionally cut communication with the satellite. I've found the source of the problem. They have sabotaged the communication array.
Can we fix it?
Not from here. We should carry on.
So, from the looks of it, seems like we probably should just have both of those on this side. The problem with this story, as it's been shown, and here we're getting more magnetic stuff went under this magnet, is even if you started the game with the general idea and concept that that the crew had cut communications and the crew was acting weird, there's still a lot of reason to kind of not believe the robot. Just a natural human instinct, I think, would kick in, implying that you shouldn't really believe him. Okay. How do we want to do this? I think what we want to do is have the magnet pull one of those boxes up against a laser to block it. So this floor should be here. So how do we make that happen? I guess what we do is we bring them over and around. Yeah, that should work. Then put that there. And then let's go ahead and just carefully place that right there. We'll see how this works. Yeah, having to hold the X button and then the camera changing is weird. And so, there we go. It worked for half a second, and it needs just a little bit more moving. There we go. So thinking outside of the box, or using the box. But we've got now have some falling action where the story and conversation has kind of stopped happening. I feel like
They really are
this is a weird,
out of every system. This is
weird
ridiculous.
point to do that.
What have you done to upset them, Tom? Why have they cut off communication?
Perhaps they have a problem with authority.
You would think astronauts would probably be fairly well behaved as far as with authority. I can't really blame Tom for being upset either. Like, there is probably something he's done, but he probably doesn't know what it is. Now I'm assuming these purple and greens alternate at different times, which should make a nice little stair-stepping pattern. Let's look down under here and see if there's something to be seen. Not really. It seems like they intentionally are putting up barriers to make sure you can't fall. And you know, there's more observation paths. It kind of feels like you should be able to walk over here sometimes and just see somebody looking at you. Portal had observation rooms of a sense too, and it definitely felt like at times you should have seen somebody looking at you. it just leaves you with a slight paranoid feeling that is never really justified. Right, so that will work here. The only thing that won't really work will be this. So I should be able to just take this one, which faces the other direction, put it here, and then jump up here. Guess that's not going to quite work, is it? That's not gonna quite work over here, is it? Either. I feel like I may just need to go back and get another orb from the previous puzzle, because this doesn't feel like this is gonna work. No, it won't. We need to take this out of the circuit, and we need to go get something else. I don't know how, though. And why this bridge section here? That's questionable. Let's try something here. This should be stupid. Yep, that was dumb. Could I possibly, if I put something down here and then jumped on it, could it give me enough height? Yeah, that gets me high enough. But unless I was supposed to jump up to that, next part doesn't work. I suppose, like, this should just fit here. That should be fine, really. So, maybe I just need to put that there. Stand here, take that, go ahead and suck that back up. Yeah, that lets me get up here. That lets me get up here. That lets me get up here. Perfect. I don't really know the reason for these storage rooms. Again, it's almost for just set decoration reasons, I guess. Feels like there should be some insect or goo or spider webs or something. They should probably be hinting at the possibility of a biological life form maybe taking control of the humans on the surface.
They are trying to sabotage this mission. I need you to help me, Ava. The ground team have cut me off from most of the facility.
I thought you were in control.
I thought I was too. The ground team have attempted to systematically remove me from most of the facility. I am fighting back.
See, it makes it kind of feel like he's just now figuring this out. And I don't know, maybe he is being just deceptive. But yeah, it definitely, I don't think, changes much. This is going to be the first time we've ever needed to do this. And we solved a extra puzzle doing this before. But that was quite a few puzzles ago. And we're getting kind of like visual glitches and sound effects every time we're getting scanned. But if these are really designed to stop robots, they are clearly failing miserably if I'm a robot. I could be just a human
What's
being
going on here,
controlled
Tom?
by Tom.
Sorry.
The ground team, they're hiding from us. They're afraid of you.
As the instrument of the ISA, I am the authority aboard this station. The crew have violated that authority. They are trying to remove me from my own home.
I think you probably could have written the story a little bit better if you had the game introduce one character that said don't trust Tom, and then have some other characters who are more okay with the idea of trusting Tom. Then you might write off one character as being crazy versus it feeling fairly obvious that the only way this scenario would work and make sense. I can't jump and make that shot at the same time. Yeah, the only way this scenario makes sense is if legitimately there is no reason to trust Tom and the entire crew is in the right. I don't think that box does anything. I think it's simply there to be a place to hold an energy thing, which that's not really a great system. And then the blinking allows us to go up these elevators to the next puzzle, and into the bright light we go.
I am breaking through their security, trying to get back control.
It would be more helpful. I mean, there is a small point here to not really side with the crew, particularly if they had written some backstory. Look at this, there's a whole box built around this so you can't do anything tricky. If I had some problems with the crew, if I thought the crew was crazy myself, or just a bad, like, anti-authority crew, if they'd mutinied or something, then I'd have more reason to side with Tom. But I kind of don't have any of that. So it's kind of impossible to not just side with the humans in every single way. Like, even though we've had no dialogue with them, I pretty much in almost every game, because every sci-fi story that's ever been told has been written and told from the perspective of a human. So the humans are almost always the good guys. I wish these doors would shut. It doesn't really benefit anybody to be able to walk back through there. We're looking for a glowing energy orb. We don't seem to have it. So, I mean, we can do this. There's some lighting on the roof. There's clearly not enough of that in this game. Can we pick up these things? Because if we could pick these up, and there really is no reason why we couldn't, logically, they would be the perfect weights, wouldn't they? There's gotta be something over here, isn't it? Yep. So in here is a closet that I can't walk any further through. And then over here, now that the power's switching around, we can just power that. But that's not what we need. There's no way to swap, but from right about here. So we need to do that instead. That way we can just suck out that energy ball and come this way. Then at this point, I think we might be able to suck out an energy ball from that point. It's iffy. But I do think that's the solution. This game desperately needs a zoom in function, a scope or something. And I don't think a new game plus mode would that gives you like a zoom in scope would be a great addition by any means. Yeah, that's just stuff that should have been there in the first place. When Sector 35, it feels like we go up a sector each time. I guess we could change the field of view if we were going to get really crazy. That might be something. I've stopped seeing the issue with the screen tearing, so I'm either ignoring it very well, or it seemed to stop happening once we were a little bit more optimized. I would say the rooms that we're in probably have less texture and are less demanding. There's a whole streaming load. Why is that disabled? That shouldn't be disabled. That was crazy. And then controls. The gamepad: jump, fire, alt fire, use, forward, back, left, right, look up, sprint, back. Yep. No buttons specifically towards zooming in. But we have streaming loading, which theoretically may stop us from seeing the loading screen, which would be nice and appreciated. Weird that that's not enabled. Most games, I would say right now, if they have a DirectX 12 mode, they're barely worth playing in DirectX 12 mode. It's just not that good. The optimization, the people programming it, they don't seem to really have that. Perhaps with the next Xbox that comes out, the Series X, by default, people will be required to program towards DirectX version 12. But even the support, last time I heard anything about Unreal or Unity even supporting DirectX 12, it was more of a beta idea than a finished, polished implementation. And yeah, we're still just kind of doing puzzles. The puzzles aren't terrible, but they definitely aren't puzzles I'd want to do 2 or 3 times. In all fairness, even Portal, I really didn't want to do those puzzles the 2 or 3 times that they tried to gamify them and have leaderboards around certain puzzles. But I did go back and play Portal 1 and 2 a second time within about 5 years of the first time I played it. Whereas this, unless there's a big twist at the ending and there's something we could have done different in nearly every puzzle up until this point, there was just some new technology or idea or concept. That is possible here. Maybe the code that we saw that was written on the paper, which, by the way, I didn't memorize, so I'd have to look at a walkthrough. Maybe if you got that code and started a new game and you opened the captain's quarters in the ship, maybe you got a different kind of gun. And maybe with that different kind of gun, it lets you solve puzzles differently. Maybe you have an infinite energy gun in that case, and you can just kind of run through the puzzles as quickly as you want. That would be slightly interesting, but it would only be helpful to get towards some end-game decision to see the other ending, which may not really be worth the whole effort. Even though this is a particularly short game, I'm not sure running through the entirety of the game a second time makes more sense, makes any sense. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.